Hey guys, welcome back to Trekyards. He's Commander
He's kind of
Cockings.
Foley.
And should I say Kapla? I
Yes.
don't know. Was it a success?
Well, we'll find out after our detailed analysis, breakdown, review, and funny shots that you might have not seen because I grabbed the in focus frame because motion blur. You can control it. And, yeah.
Yeah. What are we talking about today, Sam? I know it's Klingon related.
It's dem Klingons though, and they're same uniforms. Cool. Same rough look. Cool. But they had a phaser rifle, disruptor rifle, disruptor pistol, and a new tricorder. New. So we're gonna compare,
Were they new?
contrast. Yeah, we're gonna compare, contrast, decipher, and see how are the second try at Klingons, because they failed the first try in Discovery Season 1, and now this is the second try, because there hasn't been Klingons in any of the shows, except Lower Decks played everything successfully, pretty much, and Prodigy did the same thing. But the second try of live-action Klingons, how are they going to compare? So here are our three Klingon warriors. Should we call them red shirts rifle shirts? You know, if you have a rifle, you're gonna die, because, boy, fodder.
Yeah.
Fodder, thy name is these two guys.
No, it was great to see these actually because I love the look that it's maintaining, kind of the TNG type vibe of the sash and stuff like that. Like there's a definite unified look, but it also has the TOS-ness with the gold coloring, the belt buckles. There's a lot that really rang true. The thing that bothered me the most was the rifles being just, I think, reused from Discovery and the shuttle as well. But I'm sure we're going to get into that.
Well, they spent, $50,000. I'm just saying, $50,000 inventing those rifles, used them 4 times.
Yeah, I know. And I don't have a problem so much with the rifles. We never saw rifles in TOS. We did see their just hand disruptors. And I wasn't a big fan of the shape and design of hers. But overall, I was really impressed
Although
with
you
the
might
Klingons
like
in
it
this.
more after breaking it down.
Maybe.
Because it was
That's what I'm excited to
it was
find out about.
fleeting, we often find a force you to stare at a still, change your perspective. Yeah, I mean, I think this is not the best Klingon look, but that's a high bar. I think it's a good look. It's both everything and nothing. It ties into all things, and yet it doesn't do anything in particular. I do wish, and I've said this before, they had variant colours. Gold is great for the command ranking, which made sense the first time we saw them be the captain. But of all Klingons to be gold, I think it's a little bit too much. I would like to have seen the silver, like for gauntlets to different ranks to show different levels. So maybe you only have the shoulders if you're like, a way of doing. And you just respray paint them, right? Rather than a fake gold, a fake silver, because they're not metal. We assume definitely not metal. So that would have been nice. Them all being gold. Not my favorite look, but overall the look's great, and it harmonizes really well with the what they're doing. Yeah, as you said really early on, her fake sash, which is a whip. What a lovely, like, cool. It's a bit silly, but also very practical, and it harkens. It's a nice touch. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the addition of the whip. It was really interesting for sure.
Didn't do much in the end, but
No.
But yes, first shot, of course, or the second shot is the rifle. Yeah, I mean, we saw it so infrequently in Discovery that you can be forgiven for not remembering it, right? I think the pistol, which we'll look at in a second, is also so infrequent. Like, in a lineup, audience members would be like, But yeah, rifle, and you can clearly see unaltered, same colours, same vibe. The tips are the same. Added a torch, so I guess in that way it's been altered. But yeah, same emitter, but without a torch.
I mean, they're so recognizable, the shapes, that it just, to me, just stood out like a sore thumb. But again, I didn't mind it so much. It is actually kind of an interesting design for a Klingon weapon because of the spikes on the front. Like, they're going in, they're doing hand-to-hand combat. So yeah, it's like a bayonet, right? So I don't have a real problem with it because, like I said, we never saw TOS Klingon phaser rifles per se. We did in the TNG and things like that. But yeah, I mean, it's very alien in its design.
Thing is, it blends in fine with them, and I can't imagine they deliberately picked flashlights so that you didn't see it as much, but it does obscure them in a way, Yeah, I mean, again, so infrequently in it to really whatever. If I was them, I would have removed the front spikes and painted some more red to link with the TNG one just a bit more. I mean, that's not obviously the era, but for me, if I'd done that, I'd picked a few of the Greeblies and made them the two-tone black and red with maybe some reflective silver. Like just a repaint and take out the spikes. Maybe even, I mean, if you're adding more budget, maybe a new housing to the top to kind of like, because you can add, layers on top, right? But, it wasn't used very much. I appreciate that it uses the same disruptor. It's a new phase, it's a new pistol, so at least we did get something new. But, save the money to do other things with. I'm okay with it. But then, Stuart, this is the phaser, or the disruptor pistol, which in 4K, as this episode is presented in, and pick the frame, you get pretty darn in focus shots. There you go. There's obviously a very clear view, a slightly angled, and then in the holster, which shows off the rest of it, really. Your thoughts? The brand new piece of this episode. Now you can see it.
I hated this instantly.
Excellent.
I don't like the curves on it. It does harken to like the ones we see in TNG and the movies and stuff like that a little bit in its design and its coloring slightly. But for TOS Klingon disruptors, it didn't do it for me. They could have definitely made one or two choices differently. That being said, they might not all use the same one. That's fine. She is a dishonored house at this point. Maybe she's just grabbing the old stuff off the shelf. So I don't really have an issue with it. I just don't like the design of this thing at all, and I would never want to own one.
I don't have much of a problem with it, except the design at all. Edit that out, Stuart.
Well, no, leave that in, because, like I said, the coloring and stuff is fine. It's alien, that's fine as well. It's just, personally, I don't like the curvature on it. Although looking at it now in these stills, it does look like it would be very ergonomic. It's one of those ones that looks like it might be difficult to hold, but until you actually hold it and you realize, because we've done this with other weapons, once you hold it, it's actually super comfortable. And looking at that handle and the grip and just everything, it just seems to be perfectly fine for that. So, yeah. What did you think of this one, though?
Yeah. Gives me tad more Star Wars vibes. Just tad. Just the way I can see barrels. Like, just a tad more. But the Klingons are sort of that. And again, we'll do full comparisons in a minute. So slightly more. But this is what I've said previously. This is extremely on brand. And if the art department had, as I didn't realize, actually had the original Trelane costume, and they did the Trelane costumes, they have referencing, and they have an archive for a reason. So if the art department or prop department was handed a Discovery phaser pistol and a TNG phaser pistol, and they said, here are the two ones we want to reference, this is exactly the in-between. So massive mission accomplished. It's the curve of Discovery with some of the angles and the colors and barrels of the TNG. The problem is they've ruined the Discovery one, and now that's the canon they're linking to. So by breaking the logic the first time, those effects are now carrying on, which then hurt this design. Whereas if that had been an appropriate one, it would have been a use from. So this is the thing: if you start you do it wrong at a certain point, then the new people want to reference that, but that was broken. So it's a really effective, correct version of the two, and we'll look in a second. But it's too much Discovery to be a successful design, per se.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really particularly remember the Discovery one. If I recall, it did have the mini spikes on it, kind of like the rifle did. Yeah. Anyway, we'll get to the next picture and I'll see it, because I haven't seen it in a while. So,
but like I say, it's very faithful. I just wish the Discovery stuff didn't actually happen to influence it, because you just continue the mistakes further in because they want to be respectful. But, these mistakes are now compounding, like the warp, right? The first guy Discovery decided to make it hyperspace, and everyone else has done that after. If they'd made it real warp, they would have felt compelled to do that, right? So this is the problem, right? Right, the next shot, though, is the true to era, because evolution is important. All three of these are fully canon, so that is the thing. But, like I said, you're hard-pressed to find many shots of them using this pistol in the show. Now, I didn't use the TNG one because technically it shouldn't link to the TNG, which of course is Star Trek 3, which of course many years in the future, but also most people don't remember the TOS one compared to the TNG one, so they would use that as the lineage. Fine. This is the technical canon link, but really you'll see the TNG in a second. So grain of salt for that. But what do you think now you're seeing in this? The evolution. Do they evolve, Stuart?
Oh, okay. Well, I can actually honestly say I prefer the Discovery one over this newer one.
Hold the phone! Is that the first time I've ever said that? My God! Clip that out as well.
Spikes. Even with the spikes. I mean, they did take your advice and they removed the spikes, like you would have done with the rifle. But I think overall they've tried to link to the TNG ones, not necessarily the TOS ones, because the TOS ones still come after this point. There we see a TOS one, but as we know, in 2267, they have a technology exchange with the Romulans, and we do see a Romulan disruptor as well in the Enterprise incident, which is the same design, just a different emitter on the front. So maybe they're using Romulan inspired tech by then. But no, I like the Discovery one, honestly. The coloring, the texturing, it's much more interesting than this new one, personally. What do you think?
So obviously I do this I do this prep, whatever. I try not to look because then I can't be first reaction. They definitely either ripped apart Discovery versions, which they had left because they knew they were never going to use them again, or they used the molds. Because I'm actually kind of shocked how much is 1-for-1 they just took. But there's so much change with the front that you would need to redesign and cut out, and like it's kind of surprising actually how much is the same. That, and to go off your point about the texturing, I far prefer the new texturing because it looks like a weapon versus a intricate, ornate, grilly mess that's ornate for the sake of it. Like they've either sanded it down or 3D printed and then painted it to be clean, and I think it looks a lot more like a weapon than whatever the hell the ceremonial whatever was.
It just looks made of wood, the new one. It's like an old pirate blunderbuss.
I mean, so does the TOS one, and that looks like it's absolutely made out of wood because it is. I'm not going to judge that if that is a prop and this is certain lighting. Like, that looks much worse as a prop. Like, if you're really going to go down to that, it's just pits glued together, you know? It's like,
I disagree.
I know you do, but wood and metal. But it is interesting. This is the technical evolution, and there's definite evolution for the first two.
Yeah. You can see kind of what they were doing. I mean, with the Discovery one, they kind of have that more blunt end, which doesn't feel like a gun barrel, which ties into the TOS one. And then if you look at the step in between, the TOS one has the thing on the top, which is not a sight or anything. It's just the thing. And I think that might be what they used to inspire that top barrel on the new gun. It's kind of what it looks like to me. And it got to make you wonder, is one barrel disintegrate, one barrel just kill? Because it looks like they're both barrels. They're both emitters of some kind. Anyway.
Well, I mean, it's interesting you say that. I assuming that we are taking this as they genuinely cared and made this logic, then I appreciate they've made the top spine silver, which I think complements it really well. The red, the black, and the thing as a 3, that's a really nice touch. It would have been nice to have a little bit more silver in the design to correspond just a bit more. If that top barrel was smaller, to look more like the TOS, then it actually would be like it would feel less cohesive. Like the fact that the second barrel goes up the front is aesthetically right, like design wise. But had you had that pulled back, it would have been closer. Would have disbalanced it, but like I said, I appreciate the effort. Now the question though is the next shot is the enhanced evolution, which is a far more true representation, which includes, of course, the Star Trek TMP one, which is just the front of an assault rifle that they painted. So it's a really terrible example of a weapon because it is just a found part. Still canon, though. Terrible example. Then you get the TNG, which is the absolute design goat. And if you take that and the Discovery, I mean, very, very clearly they've that's the hybrid between those two, and I commend them for trying.
Yeah, I mean, there you can see the color matching of the brown. Just the way the one from this episode's painted, it just with the black on it, it just feels like there's a wood grain in there. Which
the red is definitely woody, yeah.
But
twin barrels though. I mean, they've brought it back in with the front bit. I mean, these are small things. I do wish now the barrels were silver. That would certainly go with it, because them being black blends in a bit too much. That would have been a nice change. But I felt they tried. Not quite as hard as I thought they did, I'll be honest. But if they've got the molds, and again, they made 6 in 2016 and never used them again, it's like, let's just use the molds and then make a new print.
Yeah. You gotta understand that they need to cut costs, so yeah, they'll use old molds and old props and stuff like that. So,
well, I say molds, they aren't molding anymore. They're all 3D printed. The CAD files.
Yeah, they're files. Yeah. Exactly.
But again, if we had loved the Discovery phase of Disruptor, this would be a full applause, right? If that would have made sense. But it's so whatever. But at least no spikes. So well done for them. But Hark the Angels Sing. This is a thing. But the next thing you might find really fun. I'm glad I did it. Didn't have to. It's only one darn shot pretty much. But here it is. Bam, a new tricorder. Proper new design. And here it is. The only example of such tech we have is the Star Trek 3, where they did all this lovely tech. The communicator and the tricorder. Communicator top, of course. And bottom left is tricorder. They might not be the studio assets, or they did try and find shots of the studio ones. They might be really good fan replicas, but I went for high-res pictures over screen caps for this clear view. So grain of salt there, but I think they're either very, very close or the right ones. So yeah, new tricorder. What do you think? And how do you feel?
Yeah, I love seeing the tricorder. It's something we've never ever really seen before. Yeah, there's one in Star Trek 3, but you don't really get a good look at it. And seeing the Klingon communicator as well in Star Trek 3 was amazing. So I like the new tricorder. Like the coloring is perfect for Klingon. I don't understand what's going on with it. There's like no real buttons. It's just an awkwardly, weirdly shaped screen, and then just no functionality, it seems. But there is a button on the side. It looks like you can push with your finger. I don't know if that's, I know, and it's just or that's a clip for clipping it on the belt or something. But yeah, it's one of those things that, I mean, you look at the TOS tricorder, you look at the TNG tricorder, there's like buttons that are labeled, which you'd want for a tricorder in a scientific instrument. Even the one in Star Trek 3 there has some kind of functionality and things going on. But yeah, I think it's an interesting take. And I did like the display, I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, as we all know, Stuart, it's just honourable to have labels.
Sure, yeah, that's fair.
And we need, glory to you and your lack of labels. So in that regard, I was very thrilled to see this, because instantly I'm like, oh, they cared. Right? There's not much reference, of course, although these are great props, I think. Okay, one's kind of shaver, fine, and the other one's just a brick. But it works. And in fact, the way they use it in the show, crew just holds it up, and then it's super underused. And I mean, functionality, a screen that small, and then whatever, right? It's a daft little prop. So actually, there's more functionality in the screen of the new one.
Yeah, that's very true.
And I love the fact the screen doesn't fit. It's so fun and weird, because that's just odd. But it's a good amount of size, I think, to the space. Could have been bigger. I mean, it could have been a Section 31 full touchscreen, right? That would have been the obvious choice, to make it all that in a bit of touchscreen, and then in graphic displays. Because boy, those buttons are very small if they're internal buttons, and stuff's cut off. Jesus, that's great. Look at that. There's text cut off on the bottom left of the display. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Well, you just use your finger and just scroll up, just move it around so you can see all the corners of the text.
Sure. They definitely did not design that with the prop in mind, because that's really funny. But that's all good. I'm fine with it. But the fact that they kept it this, you could have made this in TOS. Now, the screen would have been a picture, not a screen, but fully TOS-able prop, and yet there's got some nice glowies. I like the painting, I like the grilling, everything feels faithful. I think this is a solid success. Yes, they could have been, as per the other two, a blinky on the inner side to pretend to be a button. There is definitely space for them. And there's a hero close-up, so whatever. But yeah, I think this is a properly successful. I would not have felt out of place to have this in Star Trek 3, honestly. Yeah, I think it's a total success.
Yeah. And we've said it before with the Klingon stuff. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The Klingons tend to use older tech for a long time. So
yeah, well, just keep it up in firmware, right?
Yeah.
That was great. I think it's really apt. Given Strange New Worlds, I don't think they could have done it better. By saying, we'll make something new. It's probably as good as they can get for like faithfully new yet updated.
Yeah. No, I was impressed to see that. So just seeing the gun from a not up close detail, I just hated the curve of it. It just didn't make sense to me. It just broke my brain a little bit. But
now
I got a little more appreciation for it, for sure. And we want to hear what you guys think, whether you have more appreciation for these things after watching this video. Please comment down below. Let us know anything you noticed or know that we don't, perhaps. That's what the comment section is for.
If you designed it, email trekyards@hotmail.com and say hi, because well done. Hopefully there's more to come in later seasons. We want more Klingon stuff, because Klingons you do Klingons pretty well.
So So make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell icon, and join us for live discussions and edited reviews all the time, because we love Star Trek.
And if you love Star Trek, which might be why you're here, support us to make more Fan Trek for you all to appreciate and enjoy. Because who else does these level of graphic breakdowns? I mean, in video form, nobody. Woo. So support us if you can via Patreon. It's a monthly donation service. Anything and everything helps. Or one-time donations via trekyards@hotmail.com. That is the PayPal. On YouTube, you can join the channel via the join button. Also, with chat on any live video on any topic. Also, with thanks on any video,
including this one.
Thousands of videos. I mean, right? Pick and choose. And just like, subscribe, all the stuff Stuart said. All the free stuff. It all helps. And comment, because algorithmically it does help. So enjoy this, comment, and watch the next one.
Are you asking me what's the next one or on to the next one?
On to the next one. Both us and them.
Yes. All right. So until then, he's Commander Cockings.
Got a photo.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.